Today we are going to deal with organization, governmental provisions, schemes for children with special needs. The objective of this lesson is to impart knowledge about different organizations working for special children, to impart knowledge about various government schemes and policies, special provisions available for the child with special needs. And the third objective is to create awareness with regard to the professionals working for these children, the child with special needs. We all know that every child is unique and different. They have different abilities, they learn in different ways and at different paces. After having understood the different categories of child with special needs, it is imperative to be aware of the organizations, schemes and special provisions available for these children, so that we can be empowered with adequate knowledge and provide referral services to the rural community. The ministry is implementing programs for early detection, treatment, education, training and rehabilitation for different categories of impaired persons. There are various national institutes working for the cause of disabled children in our country in the areas of education, training, vocational guidance, counseling, rehabilitation and research. Now, let us see the institutions, the national institutions working for each special child. National Institute for Visually Handicapped. National Institute for Visually Handicapped is an apex organization working in the field of training, research, vocational guidance, counseling, rehabilitation and providing suitable services located at Dehradun. The institution is also designed to serve as a documentation and information center in the field of visually handicapped. It also organizes courses for teachers for visually handicapped at 4 regional centers: Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai and Calcutta. National Institute for Hearing Handicapped. Ali Edward Jung National Institute for Hearing Handicapped was established in the year 1983 under the Societies Registration Act of 1860, is an autonomous body under the administrative control of Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. What are the objectives of this institute? Let us see. Development of manpower by undertaking or sponsoring the training of trainees, teachers, employment officials, psychologists, vocational counselors and any such other personnel as may be deemed necessary by the institute for promoting the education, training, rehabilitation of the hearing handicapped. The second objective is to conduct, sponsor, coordinate and subsidize research in all aspects of education and rehabilitation of hearing handicapped. And it also has a state collaboration center in Bhubaneswar. In addition to this, it runs a training center for adult deaf in Hyderabad. The third institute is National Institute for Orthopedically Handicapped located at Calcutta. The objectives of this institute are as follows: to develop manpower for providing services to the orthopedically handicapped, to conduct, sponsor research in all aspects of the total rehabilitation of orthopedically handicapped, to standardize the aids and appliances for orthopedically handicapped and to promote their manufacture and distribution. The fourth, National Institute of Mentally Handicapped. National Institute of Mentally Handicapped was set up in Hyderabad in the year 1984 to undertake research, training, rehabilitation of mental retardation with a view to create awareness among the people regarding the crucial problem of mental retardation. Major activities of this institute include prevention of mental retardation, early detection, training in the mental retardation people, creating positive attitude towards mental retardation and removing the misconception and highlighting the need to referral services. And it also aims to provide systematic learning and education to the mentally retarded individuals. To achieve these objectives, NIMH, National Institute for Mentally Handicapped, is also engaged in providing literature and audiovisual aids in Hindi, English and in other major languages. Fifth, National Institute for Physically Handicapped. National Institute for Physically Handicapped was started in the year 1982. The main objective of this institute is to provide research and training the personnel for rehabilitation of physically handicapped. The objective of this institute include the referral services to the handicapped people and promote and manufacture aids and appliances. The Institute for Physically Handicapped in New Delhi runs a special school and workshop for orthopedically handicapped. It also trains the physiotherapist and occupational therapist. Sixth, National Institute for Rehabilitation, Training and Research. The objectives of this institute are to promote the use of the products made by Artificial Limbs Manufacturing Corporation of India located at Cuttack. And the second objective is to sponsor, coordinate the training of various personnel such as doctors, engineers, prosthetics, physiotherapists, occupational therapists and multi-purpose rehabilitation therapists. 7. Indian Spinal Injury Center, New Delhi. This has been set up to provide comprehensive treatment, rehabilitation services, occasional training and guidance to the patients with spinal injury. Poor and indigent patients with various types of spinal injuries and problems get a free service in this center. National Information Center on Disability and Rehabilitation. This institute organizes public relation activities like the seminars, exhibitions, workshops in different regions for facilitation of services, motivation and prevention awareness camps. 9. Rehabilitation Council of India. This institute is in charge of standardizing the syllabi, regulating and monitoring the training and promoting research in the field of rehabilitation and special education. 10. Artificial Limb Manufacturing Corporation of India, Kanpur. The institute aims at manufacturing orthotics, prosthetic rehabilitation aids required by the disabled people in the country. And it also trains the orthotic prosthetic technicians and engineers. So, these are the national institutes working for the welfare of child with special needs. Let us now try to find out what are the welfare programs or schemes provided by the government to the child with special needs. The National Trust for Welfare of Persons with Disabilities. The aim of this scheme is to enable and empower persons with autism, cerebral palsy, mental retardation, multiple disabilities to live as independently as possible and close to the community to which they belong. They provide support to the persons with disability so that they may be able to live with their families. They extend support to the registered organizations so as to enable them provide the services needed during the period of crisis. National Policy for Persons with Disabilities Act 2006. The silent future of this national policy are physical rehabilitation, which includes early detection, intervention, counseling and medical intervention, provision of aids and appliances. It also includes development of rehabilitation professionals. Economic empowerment. National Handicapped Finance and Developmental Corporation. This is an apex institution for channelizing the funds to the persons with disabilities through the state channelizing agencies nominated by the state government or through non-government organizations. The institute aims to promote economic developmental activities for self-employment ventures for benefiting the persons with disabilities. The second objective is to extend loan to the person with disabilities for upgradation of their entrepreneurial skills for proper and efficient management of self-employment ventures. Now, let us see what are the different types or appliances that are provided to these disabled children or disabled individuals. The following aids and appliances may be allowed for each type of disabled individuals. Individuals with locomotor disability, all types of prosthetic and orthotic devices, mobility aids like tricycles, wheelchairs, clutches, walking sticks, the appliances and aids for individuals with visual impairment, learning equipment like arithmetic frames, abacus, geometry kits, Braille dot systems for slow learning blind children, dictaphones and other variable speed recording systems, communication equipment for deaf blind like the Braille attachments for telephone for deaf blind persons, low vision aids like handheld stand, lighted and unlighted magnifiers, speech synthesizers or Braille attachment for computers. These are the aids given to a visually impaired individuals. Now, let us see what are the aids that can be given to a hearing impaired individual. Various types of hearing aids, educational kits like the tape recorders, assistive and alarming devices including devices for hearing of telephone, TV, doorbell and time alarms. Now, let us see what are the aids and appliances that can be given to a mentally disabled persons. All items allowed for a orthopedically disabled persons, tricycles, wheelchairs including any modification suitable to the individual. Now, we will see the schemes under MSJE, that is Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. It operates various schemes for empowerment and rehabilitation of persons with disabilities. The scheme aims to provide physical, psychological, social, educational and economic rehabilitation and development of persons with disabilities to enhance their quality of life and also to enable them to lead a life with dignity. Under this, we have scheme for assistance to the disabled persons for purchasing and fitting of aids and appliances. Deen Dayal Disabled Rehabilitation Scheme is an umbrella scheme that addresses all aspects of rehabilitation and includes the projects covering various schemes ranging from programs for preschoolers and early interventional programs for leprosy cured persons. National Handicapped Welfare Fund. It is subsequently named as National Fund for the People with Disabilities. The fund is implementing scholarship schemes for the individual with disabilities. Persons with Disabilities Act of 1995. This act is an important landmark and is a significant step in the direction to ensure equal opportunities for the people with disabilities and their full participation in national building. These are the welfare schemes provided by the government to the individuals with disabilities. Now, let us see what are the facilities that can be given by the government to the child with special needs. Scholarships. Scholarships are given to visually handicapped, hearing handicapped, speech handicapped and orthopedically handicapped students for education, training, technical training, and the facility is being implemented through the state government and union territories of India. Supply of aids and appliances. This particular scheme is launched during the International Year of Disabled 1981. Aids and appliances costing up to 3,000 are provided free of cost to those individuals whose monthly income is less than 2,500. Financial assistance to the voluntary organization. Financial assistance to the voluntary organization for providing welfare services to the disabled. Nearly 322 lakh grant in aid has been provided to 180 voluntary organizations. Rehabilitation Center. Scheme for setting up District Rehabilitation Center was launched by the government in the year 1983 and 84. The scheme envisages comprehensive services for prevention and early detection of the disabilities and rehabilitation of the disabled people within the community. Special Employment Exchange Scheme. It is related to the placement of handicapped in a gainful employment. Under this scheme, 5,200 handicapped were placed in jobs through existing Special Employment Exchange Program. Petrol Subsidy Scheme. Under this scheme, 50% of the cost of petrol or diesel is subsidized to the handicapped whose income is less than 2,500 per month and is implemented by the state government and union territories with assistance from central government. National Awards. Every year, national awards are provided to the outstanding employees of handicapped by the government, private sectors, local bodies, public sectors and corporations and the offices of the handicapped. Reservation services. To encourage employment of the handicapped, 3% of government jobs are reserved for them. National Handicapped Welfare Fund. It has set up the National Handicapped Welfare Fund with voluntary contribution for the public sector and general public at large. The fund will be utilized to improve the existing services for the welfare of handicapped. National Council for Handicapped Welfare. It is advisory board for the formulation of policies and programs for the handicapped in the country. Now, let us see what are the other concessions available for the handicapped children. Exemption of road tax, supply of free petrol or diesel at subsidized rates, concession in respect of educational qualification for employment, concessions relating to medical examinations, concessions in central government vacancies, concessions for the purpose of training students in industrial training institutes, railway concessions, loans at different rates of interest, airway concessions up to 50%, and free delivery of Braille letters throughout India by the post and telegraph departments. These are some of the concessions a handicapped individual can enjoy. Now, we will see the self-employment programs. Promotion of self-employment programs through loans and financial support. National Handicapped Finance Developmental Corporation. It is wholly owned by the Government of India and has authorized share of 400 crores. Objectives of this corporation: to promote economic developmental activities for the benefit of persons with disabilities, to promote self-employment and other ventures for the benefit of economic rehabilitation of the person with disabilities, to assist the individuals with disabilities or group of individuals with disabilities by the way of loans or advances for economically and viable schemes and projects. Self-employment in small business like service and trading centers. Under this, loan will be given for self-employment of disabled persons in service sectors or for trading activity. The small business, projects or activity for which financial assistance has been sought will be operated by the disabled persons. Assistance for skill and entrepreneurial development programs. Financial assistance in the form of loans is provided to the channelizing agencies, reputed NGOs, to recognized technical institutions for imparting skills and entrepreneurial developmental training to the disabled persons. Financial assistance is also provided for setting up occasional training centers For example, having a computer training center exclusively for imparting skills and entrepreneurial development training to the disabled persons. Schemes to promote self-employment among the persons with mental retardation. Persons with mental retardation, cerebral palsy, autism, they are not eligible to seek loans or enter into any legal contract. In such cases, following categories of persons are eligible for financial assistance from NHFDC. The parents of dependent mental retarded persons or the spouse of dependent mental retarded persons. These are some of the schemes. Now let us move on to the rights of a disabled person. They are the same fundamental rights as other human beings. They have the right to enjoy a decent life as normal as possible, to respect for their human dignity, to the same civil and political rights as their fellow citizens, to measure enabling them to become self-reliant as possible, to medical, psychological, functional, treatment, rehabilitation and placement services to help them develop their skill, fostering the process of social integration. To economic and social security, providing them with a decent level of living to work according to their capacities in a useful, productive and remunerative occupation. To their special needs in all stages of social and economic planning. To live with their family and participate in all social, creative and recreational activities. For protection against exploitation and discrimination. To legal aid. And the last right is to enjoy all these rights regardless of their race, color, religion, nation and social origin. These are the rights of a disabled person as declared by United Nations. Now let us see all the professionals working for the special child. Pediatrician is a medical doctor specialist in child medicine taking care of the babies directly after birth, supervising their growth and development. Neurologist is a physician who specializes in the treatment of disorders of brain, spinal cord and rest of nervous system. Ophthalmologist is a doctor specializing in the branch of medicine concerning the structure, functioning and disease of eye. Orthopedician is the one who deals with the prevention and correction of diseases, deformities in joints, bone, spine, muscle. Ent Specialist, a specialist who deals with the disorders of ear, nose and throat and rectifies them. Genetist is a specialist in the genetic engineering in phenomenon of heredity and variation. He seeks to understand the differences and resemblance. Psychotherapist, person who deals with the systematic persistent exploration of neurotic patients' mental process by verbal means in order to help them better personal and social integration. Speech therapist deals with rectification of speech disorders. Prosthetist is the one who makes artificial limbs, artificial dentures, external organs or parts. Audiologist is the one who deals with the science of hearing. Physiotherapist deals with physical reconditioning of the diseased and injured. Occupational therapist who teaches the trade and art as a means of rehabilitation of patients with physical and mental handicap. Psychiatrist deals with the branch of medicine devoted to the diagnosis, treatment and prevention of mental illness. Psychologist who studies psychology, which is the science of human behavior. Medical social worker is the one who deals with the relationship between social welfare and medicine. Special educator is the one who deals with deviant children. These are some of the professionals working for this child with special needs. So, today we have learned about the national institutes working for the welfare of the child with special needs. We have also learned about the different welfare programs, schemes provided by the government for the welfare of child with special needs. And also we have seen the facilities and the concessions given to the disabled person. And lastly, we have acquired knowledge about the rights of a disabled person and the professionals working with disabled persons. So, with all this knowledge, we can help or provide referral services to the people who are in need of them. Thank you.